start.
All righty. Happy Tuesday to everybody, guys. Before I get started, just a quick advertisement about our first annual shoe drive that's coming up at the Coliseum. We're hoping to get 5,000 pair of sneakers donated to help homelessness with our youth right here in Los Angeles. So everybody, please, that comes to the stadium, please bring a pair of new or slightly used sneakers and help what we think is an absolutely great cause. After watching a lot of tape on Notre Dame, you come away feeling their record does not match the personnel that's on the field right now. And when you look at the total story, you see a very, very dangerous team. You see a team that's 4-7, but you also see a team that's lost 6 games by 7 points or less. That 7th game, they lost by 8 points. They've had an opportunity to win each and every game down the stretch. Offensively, a team that puts up 31 points a game, and it really starts with the quarterback, Kaiser. And definitely a kid that's going to play on Sundays, a dual threat mentality, a kid that's already thrown for 2,700 yards, but he's already rushed for 500 yards also. And a little bit different here where, Coach Kelly is actually designing quarterback-driven runs, not only zone reads, but quarterback-specific runs just for him. He's got big targets to throw to, and St. Brown is the one that jumps out at you right now. A Southern California kid. I know he'll be excited to be able to get back home. Very talented, 6'5" wideout that has a huge catch radius. Already has 51 catches on the year. Josh Adams, quality running back that is a big back. One of the bigger backs that we've seen, 220 pounds and rushing for 5.3 a carry, so doing a terrific job there. On defensive side, what has impressed us is the defensive front, and it really starts with Rochelle and Jones. The tackles for losses that they bring and how they penetrate and get in the backfield has been extremely impressive. And the two linebackers with Niles and Unwalu are extremely impressive. Two of the better backers that we've seen on the year. This is going to be a game that we're going to have to prepare heavily for. We expect a close contest. This is a team I know that has a lot of pride, and again, this is a rivalry game, so throw the records out the window. Injury-wise, Josh Fatu made it back today, did a little bit on the practice field. We'll see how he continues to progress. Stevie, we've been limited over the past couple weeks to keep him healthy for game times, but he did get a little bit today. Adoree, even though he came out with the ankle in the game, as you saw today, went 100% today. Lockett was back working in the nickel position and getting some work there. We'll see how he progresses. Pai Young is still under concussion protocol. Chad Wheeler has a little bit of a wrist sprain. We casted him up. He was able to make it today, and we held Juju Smith today just from some bangs and bruises. He did a little bit of light work early to get a lather, and then we pulled him for the rest of the day to try to get him healthy for Saturday. With that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Coach, you talked a lot about last week about pageantry of the rivalry with UCLA. When you think about this rivalry, obviously it goes way back. Yeah. What's your first memory that comes to mind?
Oh, Mercy, like I told the kids, when you talk about the history of football, how can you not talk about this game? USC, Notre Dame, and what it means to both schools. Two elite programs, both academically and athletically, and we have a lot of pride. That shillelagh is a very, very important thing to both schools, and it's been away from us, and just like keeping the victory bell with us, there's a lot of pride towards that trophy. It'll be a great rivalry.
We hear a lot about what players can do over the course of the season to get better, whether it's film or whatever. What can a coach do to become a better coach over the course of the season?
Really know your players and know their strengths and their weaknesses, and be able to focus on a weakness and make it into a strength. And when you're game planning, being able to take their strengths and fit it into what you want to do is one of the things that I've really appreciated all three coordinators, to be able to diagnose exactly what a kid can do. I'll give you a great example, Rasheem Green, one of the best arm over guys we have on the team. What have you seen in the field goal blocks on special teams? Arm over, great diagnosis by John Baxter. You look at You look at Clancy Pendergast and look at how Chinna and Porter are tremendous edge players. You know, he's been an underfront defense before where you got a Sam and a Predator. He goes to a forward outlook and puts those two kids on the edge where their strength comes out. You know, and I see T each and every week finding different ways to get the playmakers the ball. So that's a huge part of being a coach, is knowing your personnel and developing your personnel. And that's how you get better as a coach. That's why they put coach in front of you today.
What is the process to kind of better understand your guys? Is it in practice? Is it film? A combination?
Well, I've always felt this thing. A kid when you go through a season, it's about trust and trusting your coach, trusting his character, trusting his being competent, and then also the connection. And I really feel not only do we have great teachers, but we got guys that build relationships with our players. And as you go through a season like we do have, it's about trust and it's about building relationships. And I'm proud of our guys for the relationships that they've built through our players, not only through the good times but the bad. You know, when things were bad, that trust and those relationships carried us through to some good times here down the stretch.
With Juju, is there a line there with he plays so hard and puts his body on the line, but at the same time you need him to be on the field? Is there a line with having him kind of dial back some of the aggression?
Yeah, well, one of the things that, you know, we were in the game and it was third quarter, I believe, and we were getting ready to start that half and went to Juju. He's such a warrior. My response to him was, Juju, just make sure that you're unselfish. You know, that if you get to a point where you're not helping the football team, then let's pull off and let somebody else go in there and make a play. And I thought he did that. You know, he gave us as much as he possibly could in that game, but he also trusted his buddy and Daquan Hampton to go out there, who's also a good player, and go and make plays. So, you know, there's a fine line between that, and it takes a very unselfish player to be able to know, you know what, I may not be able to play 80 plays today. Maybe I have to play 40 and give my best 40 that I can, knowing my buddy can take the other half. And I thought it was a good combination in the game.
Do you have to remind the team at this point to ignore the record when you're playing Notre?
Yeah, always. You know, we have so much to play for in this game. This is a critical, important game for us. You know, one, you know, just the history of the game and what it means for both universities. You know, I look at, we had set a goal that to be remembered in November, and to go through November and win each and every game 1 week at a time. Well, we look up and we could have an undefeated October and November. I don't think that's been done here since 2008. You know, you look at how many times, and y'all can do the research, how many times has the Victory Bell and the Shillelagh been on this campus at the same time? It's a game, that rivalry's been going on 100 years, and it's less than 20 times. How special is that to be that team? How special is it for a group of seniors to be in the Coliseum and to be able to say, you know what, we played an entire season and we were able to protect our house and go and win each and every game in that Coliseum. So there's a lot of pride on the line for us as a team. Plus, as you know, as a coach, as you look at it, it has a lot of implications for what you do in December as far as a bowl game also. So this is a critical game for us, and it's the next game, you know, and that's the way our mindset has been for the last 2 months, and that's the way we'll approach it here this week.
When ESPN released the playoff rankings today, they were debating whether USC and 3-loss teams should be included in the discussion. How do you talk to players about that, or what's your?
No, that's not our job. I mean, we don't worry about things that we can't control. I mean, it's so hard to win games at this level. If you worry about any noise that's out there or what's being said or opinions, you know, you got to focus on, you know, beating Notre Dame and the preparation that goes into that. So, you know, our job is to win football games. It's another man's job to be able to decide exactly where you're ranked and where you're headed.
Your offense kind of took off with Donald in Utah. Mm-hmm. But from that point to now, how do you feel like you guys have improved on offense?
Well, I look at us right now, and you know, you look at the yardage one and the movement of the ball. You know, I mean, I don't know the number, but I would be daring to say that it's probably around 500 yards a game since Utah on. So the ball is moving. And I also look at the point production that's been happening from that point on. And I would be fair to say that probably it's in the 33, 34, 35 point range. You know, so the ball is moving and it's getting in the end zone, and that's what you hope for offensively. I've seen the biggest strides have been in the offensive line. Just from game one to now, what they've accomplished. They're 11 games in. They lead the league in fewest amount sacks with 11. You look at them rushing over 200 yards a game. They've just been a physically dominant unit over the last 2 months, and really one of the core units that's helped propel us. Now they've got to finish, and thank goodness they have that experience and that maturity that I feel like they'll do.
Sam's rarely been sacked. You mentioned 11 times. How much of that is he's getting better protection versus kind of escaping the rush and what he's
I think
able
it's
to do?
twofold. I think it's twofold. And one thing that I appreciate about Sam is he makes quick decisions, whether the ball is out or whether he pulls it down and creates. You know, and that's part of being able to be a team protection unit. It's offensive line, it's backs, and it's quarterbacks. You know, quarterbacks in quick decision making, getting the ball out or pulling it down and running and creating. It's backs doing their job on blitzing linebackers like Justin Davis and Ronald Jones and St. Ware did in this previous game. And it's about an O-line that takes on one of the best pass rushers that we felt in the country intact and really does its job for the majority of the day. So in my mind, it's a team protection.
Do one more.
Darius Rogers has been somebody who has kind of found an area of the game in the third downs. How have you seen him kind of come along that area, and how has he become Sam's target on those third downs?
Yeah, he's just Mr. Reliable. I mean, when you think about it, he's one of those guys, if he touches it, he catches it. His catch rate is huge. And his strength of his hands at the point of contact when the ball hits, you just know it's going to come down. And he makes those tough catches, those catch-bang plays that happen on third down. You know, you wish the windows were huge on third down, but it's not. It's usually man coverage, you know, or it's some type of drop 7, drop 8, where you know there's going to be tight windows. And time again, he's come up with huge plays for us this year. He's one of the big reasons we've been successful.
Thank you.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much.